Hey everyone, Simply Investing here, back with another episode of Simply Investing. Just double down on some FTC First Data Corp. I think it's going to be a good one over the next couple of years. Wouldn't expect significant moves over it. Just steady growth over the next few years. And that's kind of what I want to talk about is just steady growth. Like, what is steady growth? Number one thing I always get from anyone that asks me advice about investing, their first thing is, well, what do you think of penny stocks? What do you think of this? I need the highest possible rate of return. I get that. I get that you want to try and make as much money as quickly as possible, but let me tell you how true wealth is generated. It isn't through sexy gains. It isn't through ginormous returns. Yes, hedge funds can do it because they have a lot of money. They can bet on everything. When you bet on everything, as long as one pays out, it covers all the losses. But most of us, we don't have multi-billions of dollars to invest in every possible venture. So we have to pick and choose. So what I say is pick and choose the ones that will give you steady growth. Like, I invested in Microsoft, it must have been like 2013, somewhere around the end of there. I invested money in it. It was never moved anywhere, just steadily gained. It was like, I think it was like $30, between $30 and $34 a share at the time. Now it's breaking 70 again. I've used it to generate more dividends. I can invest in other stocks, and it slowly grew my portfolio. So I have to say, over the 5 years of just slowly managing this portfolio, I've managed to create a decent amount of wealth. Now, it wasn't something that you could say, oh my God, I'm making shit tons of money off of it. It's just a slow, steady acquisition of wealth. Nothing too fabulous, nothing to report about. It's just make a little bit of money, a little bit more money, invest it in something else. Make a little bit more, invest in something else. Make a little bit more, invest in something else. Dump this one, move on to this one. And I've made some losses over the way, or some flat gains, but I managed to maintain about 23% increase. Somewhere there, I'd say between 18 and 23% increase. This year, right now, I'm hitting 24 for the year. So, 24% when I started was about $2,000. And then you got to think, you got to compound that. Dividends, of course, coming in. And you get to invest in more, and eventually, all of a sudden, your 24% is as much as a car. Now, I'm halfway through a decade on that, over halfway through a decade on that, and it just seems to continue to rise. And I always get asked, what is the major point to the success of my portfolio? And all it is just, I pick stocks that I understand how they make money and generate a profit to its shareholders. I don't invest in anything I don't know. I don't invest in anything that's a fad stock. If I understand how they make money, if I understand how they make profits, I will start to invest in it. Nothing really insane about that. It's not like I'm looking for, okay, let's try to make a huge gambit. Now, I do have a couple stocks every now and then I make significant gains, like Tesla, but I did not invest more than 5% of my portfolio in Tesla. So when I invested 5%, yeah, I probably could have invested more, but I reduce the risk to my portfolio by saying, okay, this is the gain I'm willing to take. I'm willing to lose out on massive gains by playing it safe and hedging my bets. It panned out well. Probably should start thinking about just cashing in the results of that and moving forward. But at the same time, I still think it can go quite a bit higher. But that's kind of my process. Like high risky stocks that I understand how and where it's going to come from. Even if I think that it's going to have a tremendous upside, I don't invest in it. The higher the upside, the less I will risk. Because I could put half my portfolio in there and it doesn't happen, and now I'm out half my value. But if I keep my steady gains going and I only put 5% in there, then I lost 5%, I gained 23%, so I'm only up 18%. Whereas if it doesn't do well, then that 5% may have helped make 1 month be like a 60% or a 1 year be a 60% gain, and you're like, okay, well, wish I invested more, but I'm protecting my wealth generation for the future rather than trying to risk it all in one bet. And I think it's part of the illusion to grandeur that most people have, is that when people pick stocks, they make a lot of money off of one stock. And I mean, there are some that just happens to be the case. They pick right and boom, they make a lot of money. But most of us, it's just slow, steady, consistent gains. Nothing fabulous, nothing to write home about, just every day. So for those of you who are looking to either turn trading into your career, or looking to kind of get a head start on your retirement fund, or maybe even just make it so that you can have an easier lifestyle, an easier time at life, you don't have to worry about work, you always have extra income coming in, I would make sure you invest in stuff make sure you understand how the company operates, and 3, make sure you pay attention to the news, of not just the news like on CNN, CNBC, and all the channels and everything, but also that you pay attention to the security filings and the reports on the company. Like, you want to make sure that you're not buying at the same time all the executives are dumping their stock. That's usually a bad sign. You're going to have a bad day when that happens. But if you pay attention, you see that the CEO and major shareholders are acquiring more, then that means you probably should acquire more. Because that means the people behind the train of the business have a faith in that the business will work. And that's all you need, is just a little bit of faith to make that happen. And I'd say your 4th quality probably is diligence. Just be diligent at this. Just be diligent at monitoring it and making sure that you are following your own process, or you can say it's an algorithm. If the stock does this, you do this. If the market does this, you do this. Make sure you stick to those. Don't let someone else influence you on how you're going to trade. Because there's always hype people, and they want to hype up a stock, and they're doing it for someone else's benefit. I implore everyone to follow the news on stocks that they choose to look at. Make sure they really understand. It's just do the diligence. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. You may be staying up 4 or 5 hours every night, getting a little sleep, but your portfolio will love you for it. And you'll love yourself for it. But it just boggles my mind that every time I try to help someone with it, the first thing they go to is penny stocks and fast gains. It's like, that's not how you make money. That's not how it's going to happen. You may get lucky. You may get lucky. It's a 1 in a million chance. You may have it happen where, all right, you made it big. I'll slowly roll, but like all gambling, people just double down on the next one and then lose it all. So I guess with that saying, you know, it's just kind of like a small venting video. Really just understand the companies that you invest in, understand the process, respect your own process, and make sure you do the diligence that is required to make sure that you are protecting your wealth. Don't ever bypass those or anything, because then you will fail. With that said, good hunting to you guys. It's the start of the week. I know Trump announced that he's breaking up big banks and the market went in the opposite direction. So stay focused. Good luck. I will hopefully have another video out soon. Keep you guys updated. I'm no longer doing the Robinhood stocks program on that. Although I do recommend, if you want to get into one of those apps, either Stash or Betterment. Betterment's way better. It'll actually help you manage your money for future benefits, which is a lot better than getting some free trades. So with that said, good luck, good hunting. I'll see you guys at the end of the week.